common concern that parents have is sibling conflict. Let's dialogue about that a little bit, and you can put more questions down below here, and I'll try to respond to them, maybe with another video, or maybe just I'll type in some comments as we continue to interact about this very important subject in a child's life. Let me give you some ideas to get started. These ideas come from my book, Say Goodbye to Whining, Complaining, and Bad Attitudes in You and Your Kids. You can purchase that book at biblicalparenting.org, and there's a whole curriculum associated with it to help children know how to deal with some of the relational components in family life, including sibling conflict. So number one, I would suggest discipline children independently. This is so valuable because when you work with children together in sibling conflict, they often gang up on you, and it doesn't have the best results. The reason is because if you got two children that are fighting, each one of those kids has to deal with their own selfishness and the selfishness of the other. So if you're going to tailor an individualized plan for a child, you want to work with them independently. You might even just pull one child out of the room when two kids are fighting and say, we need to talk about this. You need to have a better plan. Let's talk about your plan for dealing with your sister here. And that child might say, well, what about her? And you say, well, I want you to know I'm going to pull her out, but I don't want her out yet. I want you to go in and learn how to work with her. So I'm going to give you some tools and some ideas, and you go in and spend some time working with her. And if everything's going well on your side, I'm going to pull her out and I'm going to help her in her life as well. So work with kids independently. It's a great solution to try to maneuver through this rather challenging concept. The second thing I would suggest is transfer responsibility to kids. Now, this is a time when you would have them work together. You might say, looks like you guys are fighting over something here. Why don't you sit on the couch and talk about it and let me know what your conclusion is? And so here what we're doing is equipping children to negotiate and compromise and communicate and persuade. And as they do that, they're learning better how to communicate with each other. Now, you might have to monitor that to encourage their ability to communicate well instead of yelling at each other. But the point is, when children learn to solve problems for themselves, then they do much better at dealing with challenges in relationships. So equipping them to do that is also very helpful. Oh, I'm sure there's a lot more ideas I could share with you, and I will as we continue on here. But that'll get you started. What are some other challenges you have with sibling conflict that we should talk about here?